Oh man. All right, we live, y'all. What's up? What up, TD? Ugh, already too excited, man. Can't even contain myself. What up, TD Nation? How y'all doing? We're streaming right now, so we're let's talk about this dub. Let's make sure my sounds is all good. You know what I'm saying? Recording, microphone properties. Make sure the levels are good. Let's raise that up a little bit. Okay, sounds good. Man, what a game. 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 That was insane. It's just Chargers, man. Made it to the playoffs. 5th seed. Chargers against the world. Here we are. Won the game with our defense, nonetheless. With the Chargers won the game with the defense. That's one of the main takeaways that I want to just point out. We going in, we knew this was going to be a slugfest. We know this was going to be low scoring. We knew this was going to be, all those different things of defense versus defense, and basically who can break through and just get enough points to win the game, as well as who makes the fewer amount of mistakes. That's what really came down the first matchup. The reason the Chargers lost, they made more mistakes than the Ravens. They gave up one big play, week 16, to the tight end, which was like a 10-yard route that ended up going for a 68-yard touchdown, 69-yard touchdown, something like that. Threw an interception on the opening drive, put him in a hole early, and then the turnover late in the fourth quarter, and then the one that just iced the game at the very end, that was the interception in the end zone. So this time around, here we are, and the Chargers defense played rock solid. The offense, it was an ugly game to watch, but that's the game they needed to play. They needed to find a way to win the ugly one. And that's what it really came down to. Like that's it. That's just field goals were a hot commodity. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're okay with a field goal. Like, that's totally fine. So they did what they needed to do to win the game. And you can't really say much more, you really can't. Great game planning. Great. The coaching staff was prepared. You could tell this time around they knew what they wanted to. They knew what they wanted to do this time around. They knew what they really wanted to get done. Let me go ahead and address my chat here now that I'm kind of done. What up, bro? The last couple minutes from Austin with the Chargers, baby. Defense played well. Wasn't winning the last drive. Bolt up. I'm telling y'all. Yeah, it's just. It's just. I'm just proud, I'm proud of this team. I'm proud to say I'm a Chargers fan. I've been saying it all season. This team is special, and the one thing is like. The team just finds a way to win, and there's teams where they have an identity of this, an identity of that, and the Chargers still have that. They got a lot of speed on defense. They got 2 great pass rushers. On offense, for the longest time, Melvin Gordon was carrying the load, both catching passes and running out of the backfield. And at the same time, Keenan Allen was kind of killing him. So to not really play that identity and still win, the Chargers can adapt, and that's worth more than being the best offense in the league, being the best this in the league, leading the league in this. You know what I'm saying? It's the fact that you can almost chameleon yourself to win a game by any means necessary. That's worth more than a lot. That's what the championship teams figure out how to do. Like at the game on the line, you're not going to be able to play the exact same game you want to play every single time. So you got to find a way to win, period. I see some people in the chat saying offense has to step up. You got to put touchdowns against the Patriots, not field goals. Listen, they're a different defense, and the Chargers will. Look at the Chargers. Their lowest scoring point total this season came against this exact same Ravens team. So the fact that they managed more than 10 points put them in a better situation than last time. Given against like a team like the Patriots, yeah, it's going to be an offensive game. There's going to be a lot more offensive scores. There's going to be, there's going to be a lot more offense that is going to be generated in general, by both sides. the Patriots offense is a lot better than the Ravens offense. So, as well as the Chargers defense played this week and will probably play next week, you're still going to give up a few. And, I'm sure the offense will find a way to get it done against them. My only concern, and this is one of those either way, because I think this is one of the one times where I'm okay with it. My only concern is at the end of the game, you do want to see them get a first down. You do want to see the offense put the game away, get a first down, eat the clock up, not leave it to chance. Like just, like I'm seeing it again in the chat. Keep the foot on the gas. Yeah, you do want to do that. Now, granted, your defense has been playing amazing, and when you needed the biggest play, Uchenna Nwasu stepped up, got the strip sack. Melvin Ingram fell on it. Game over. Ball game. That's it. I'm more comfortable with the Chargers defense finishing that game with less than a minute left than I would be risking not getting a completion. You know what I'm saying? Going for the first down and then leaving more time on the clock. Granted, the time on the clock didn't even matter. Nwasu made a play, but yeah, it's just that type of game. It was different. It's a different type of game that they were going to play. It was going to be, whoever one team was going to score more than 20 points. It happened last time, happened this time. Whoever that team was to score more than 20 points and not give the ball away was going to win this game. So they played how they needed to play. Very clever scheme I want to mention. Gus Bradley playing 3 safeties at linebacker damn near the entire game. That was very interesting strategy, and a strategy that worked really well because they were basically – so the Ravens, similar to that of the Jacksonville Jaguars last year, sort of, except for the one fluke where they got in a shootout and ended up winning that game against the Steelers. The Ravens are a team that are built to play with the lead. They're built to hold the other team's offense, get a field goal or a touchdown by some sort of means, and then literally run the ball 30 times a game and have Lamar Jackson squeal out and break away on some of those plays. The fact that the Chargers scored first, didn't let the Ravens offense get in the end zone, threw off their game plan of what they wanted to do, forcing them to throw more. They basically said, Lamar, go ahead and throw. We're taking away the run. We're going to let you throw. And then on top of that, like I said, genius playing 3 safeties at linebackers the whole game. So that way at the second level, you have the speed to chase down Lamar Jackson. Granted, he got away a couple times, but they were few and far between compared to what he did last week against the Cleveland Browns. There was a couple plays. Literally, Derwin James literally stood parallel to him and just said, go ahead and cross the line of scrimmage. If you do, I'm on you. You can chill back there and try and throw, but the moment you come past this line of scrimmage, I'm taking you down. And that was really good. The containment was good. Probably made it a little bit more interesting at the end of the game than they needed to. But that just kind of happens. You can hold the team down for so long. But again, they did what they needed to do. They had a game plan. It was not going to be a pretty game, and they did what they needed to do to win, period. So I'll take that any day over some 300-yard passing, 4 touchdown. No, it's the best defense in the league for a reason. You got to make sure you know your opponent, play them how you need to play them to get the job done. I'll take what they only managed 1 touchdown the entire game. I'll take that over 2 touchdowns but 3 interceptions. You know what I'm saying? Philip was getting blasted. Yeah, and we knew that it was going to happen. We knew that it was basically going to be a rematch of the first game. The difference was taking care of the ball. And then when the Chargers did happen to lose the ball, the defense stepped up and got it right back. So it was whose defense was going to force more turnovers and whose offense was going to take more care of it. So again, I'm not upset. And can we talk about Michael Badgley? Just God, he is such a godsend. He's such a blessing to have on just to. We have a kicker, you know what I'm saying? It's no, he just puts them through the uprights. He just does his job. And to have that, it's so nice, Charger fans. It's so nice to have that. Oh man, it's beautiful. I will say going into next week, I'm hoping Melvin Gordon's all right. You could tell that whatever knee injury he suffered early in the game kept him from getting a little bit done. I will say too, the penalties, they didn't let him happen as many as against the Ravens the first time around. That penalty on Russell and Kung kind of hurts because that Melvin had a clear first down. That would have been and stayed in bounds to keep the clock going. That would have been game over right there. So there's that too. That it's not like the offense didn't make a play. It's just shot themselves with a penalty at an inopportune time, but it worked out in the end. Just because Uchenna Nwasu made the play that he did. I mean, I'm looking at the stats right now. I'm trying to key takeaway. Rivers only had 160 yards, no throwing touchdowns, but 22 of 32. As long as you keep the ball moving, that's what they needed to do. Wanted King credit draw 3 touchdowns. Wasn't gonna happen, bro. That offense is not. Lamar Jackson can't get that man the ball. What are your thoughts? Okay, so we were talking about it at my house because I had some people over for the game. Going into the second half, do you put in Joe Flacco? Both Charger fans and Ravens fans. Questions for you guys: do you put in Joe Flacco to play that second half of the game, or do you do what Harbaugh did and stick with Lamar? I want to know that. What else? What else can we pull? I mean, it was a team win. It really was a team win. Like there's no other way to do it. Or say it or talk about it. It was a team win. They made the plays when they needed to. I'm looking at the defensive stats now. Ingram had 2 sacks. Desmond King had a sack. Justin Jones had a sack. Nwasu with the strip sack. Bosa had a sack. Isaac Rochelle had a sack. Like, defense played phenomenal. And I think that's the main takeaway is this defense, especially the defensive line and the pass rush, played for an elusive mobile quarterback. They certainly got to him plenty. Trying to see. Jackson was getting booed in the third. Keep Jackson, given that experience if you know he's the future. I mean, I can dig that. I think we had 4 fumbles. What was the turnovers like? Yeah, I mean, it's just, Raven fan here. Jackson is no future for us. Yikes. There was a fight too that broke. I saw it on Twitter. A dude literally upended and his legs went flying. I saw that fight on Twitter. Oh, Jackson the next RG3. I don't think so. RG3 necessarily. He just needs work. I think he just needs work. I don't know that going with him for the rest of the season was the move. That's great. Oh my God. Okay, let's talk about that. So to everyone out there watching on TV, yeah, that screaming girl throughout the screaming wild banshee throughout the entire game. Whether it was a woman or a little kid screaming or whatever it was, I don't want to assume anything. There was an individual who was screaming the entire game, and you could hear it loud and clear on the TV broadcast. It was just, oh man, it was annoying. I just couldn't. And the thing is like last week against the if you watch Ravens Browns, you could hear the same whoever screaming the entire game. Jackson no different than Vic. Watson or Cap. No Super Bowls in their future. I would say Watson out of that group, if you're lumping them in there, Watson has the biggest upside. Granted, I know he played terribly yesterday against the Colts. But he is the most promise. Jackson is going to do it with his legs if he's going to do it, period. Watson actually has a chance to grow into a more solidified player. Granted, it's, he only played half a season or so because of his injury. So, and then this season was like his comeback from injury, and that was his first taste of the playoffs. So I don't want to say nobody, but a lot of quarterbacks, their first taste of the playoffs doesn't go so well. It's a lot playoff football is a little bit different than regular season football. So, I don't know. I'm still coming off a high right now. It's what's up, bro? What's up, SD baby 619? Charger fan for those poor executes how to finish a game. I mean, like I said, any means necessary. I'll take it. I'm not the killer is the Russell Okung penalty on the run. Like, yeah, you let a couple plays slip out that shouldn't have. The one that just barely got over the fingertips of Derwin James to the running back, the crazy throw. The containment was amazing, by the way, from the defensive line. The containment on Lamar Jackson was amazing. The DBs just kind of let it go, and then Casey Hayward got burned on that other long play. And then you let Crabtree get loose, and it's fine. It's a hiccup. It's not what you want to see, but at the end of the day, the win's a win. They stayed true to game plan. They did what they needed to do to win. It would, I knew it wasn't going to be a pretty game, but here we are, going on, advancing to the next week, and that's really what's important. So, Patriots probably send you home. We'll see. I mean, we'll see. I don't know that the Patriots have done enough. And I know this may sound, come off as a little biased. Obviously, I am wearing full Charger gear with the jersey hanging right here. But to me, the Patriots have not done anything overly convincing to let me know that the Chargers have no chance. Obviously Tom Brady is Tom Brady. He's Tom Brady for a reason. Belichick is Belichick. The Patriots are the Patriots. But they haven't done enough personally for me to convince me that, Chargers have no chance going into Foxborough. They have to execute again. They have to take care of the football. They cannot give Tom Brady any opportunities. The pass rush needs to get to Brady just like they did today against Lamar Jackson. If anything, that should be a little bit easier, because he's not as mobile. And now you don't have to commit a spy in the second level to Tom Brady either, because he's not going to get out and beat you with his legs. So now you have more coverage on defense. It's just really they have like 18 running backs they use. You just got to worry about those guys. You know what I'm saying? That's my biggest fear of the Patriots. Gronk is not the Gronk of what we're used to, but he's still Gronk. You can't let him go. I think the Chargers have enough talent and speed at the DB position to handle their what do they call short white receivers? Sneaky athleticism. I think they have the speed to keep up with them. And you never wish, like, from a sportsmanship standpoint, you never hope that the other team's best players don't show up. But them not having Josh Gordon either is a game changer too as well. So we'll see what happens. And the Chargers will have a lot easier. Not a lot easier. They don't have as many things to worry about as they did with the Ravens defense. It's not going to be easy, but the Chargers, I feel like, will put up more points against, or points won't come as difficult against the Patriots. They won't kick as many field goals necessarily, I think. The Patriots defense, there's not like maybe one or two like playmakers, but their defense is a great scheme defense. So I think Rivers gets the ball in the end zone more than once. Definitely won't have a goose egg at the touchdown stat. So we'll see. Rivers did a lot of running. He did. Hey, Rivers got. Can we talk about Rivers? Hold on a second. Can we talk about Rivers? JC, I see you. Defense is built to stop a QB like Brady. Yes, and keep up with their DBs. Can we talk about Rivers' wheels, man? He was making moves. He was moving around in the pocket. He was extending plays just long enough. And then that first down he ran for, man, I've never been more proud of my man Phillip Rivers. When he stopped, he dove, went head first, took the contact, got the first down, and then he stood up and posed and sauced on him. Wait, hold on. First down. All right, let's go. Let's keep it rolling. Oh man, my man's was doing the most, and it was amazing. Yeah, the way he paused and pointed, he just looked over at the sideline. He said, No. I'm gonna build up the suspense. Hold up. Hit him with it. You know what I'm saying? So that's my QB, man. Oh, that's my QB. Just jumping in. So my fault for any duplicates. Jenkins at safety and moving a die to back with Junior Sadai should consider bulking up the options. Yeah, no. That's actually what I want to talk about. No, you're good. AWM, you're good. Jenkins played really well at safety. What I would say, what is it? So there's, from my point of view, from my standpoint, Adai has regressed this season, and there's two main reasons why I think he has. The first is just having to do with not having to do with the rule changes, the targeting, the lowering of the helmet, the hits on the defenseless receiver, the increase in calling those types of penalties. Adai is someone who plays like 100% full speed, slamming into guys, and a majority of the way he plays the game, the way it's being called now, is leads to a penalty. You see him on like you pull the film. Granted, there's a couple times he got beat, and that's just getting beat. That's just poor technique and not staying disciplined. I get that. But there's plays where you can see he lets up and hesitates. And do I hit this guy full speed like I always have my entire career, probably the entire time he's ever played football, or do I ease up and try and wrap up? It's the great ones have to adjust. So I'm not making an excuse of, because of the rule change, now that's why he sucks. Like he has to learn to adjust. At the same time, it's when you've played one way and one way only your entire football career, I'm talking pros, college, high school, everything. It's hard. It's playing a completely different way. Now, the second thing I want to mention, and this is why he played well today for the most part. Well, who was it? When he first came on as an undrafted free agent, Eric Weddle was still on the team. Weddle would play up at the line of scrimmage a lot, but he'd still have the coverage back at free safety. And Adai played up at the line quite a bit. Weddle leaves. Dwight Freeney comes on. He plays a lot more free safety. Dwight Freeney gets cut. Last year it was Trey Boston who played free safety a lot and did a great job. Had 5 interceptions. Did well in coverage. First couple games a little slow, but he picked it up and he played really well for that Chargers defense. Adai has always played up at the line, more of that, kind of strong safety, kind of like in the box type safety. So I think him having the free safety responsibilities, having Derwin James play a lot of in the box safety. Granted, Derwin is phenomenal at what he plays. You definitely want him at that position. You can obviously rotate him out and put him at free safety, but he is a game changer where you want to be able to use him on the blitz, use him to cover the flat. And then he can even drop back in coverage, stick with a tight end because he's big enough and fast enough, and then still drop back even further over the top, cover some of those plays when they switch it up. That's why I think he's had an adjustment period because has to be playing a role that he's not used to. So being that they flipped it, ran basically 3 safeties at linebacker the entire game, he was back up in the box, I think. And I think that's where Adai is most comfortable, where he can make those boom, boom plays rather than having to cover or roam around a lot of space, So that's kind of my 2 cents on it. Obviously, you want a guy who's versatile, who can play everywhere on the field. You want everyone to be Derwin James, basically. But I think that's just where Adai's best suited, and he's been asked to play outside of where he's been best suited. So we'll see what happens in the offseason. If I wouldn't mind hanging on to him, give him a chance to try and figure it out next season. Obviously, the Chargers will probably look to bring in another safety or play more Jenkins going forward because obviously they drafted him for a reason. But we'll see. Maybe they do more of this linebacker stuff. Maybe Desmond King converts from safety to corner and they play him on the outside, and they do Adai at the nickel or something, or in zone schemes, or who knows? They'll figure it out. They can get really creative with it. Gus Bradley, I know, is going to stick around, so that helps a lot. I think that's been the biggest difference is having Gus in a defensive coordinator. So I'm excited. I'm really excited. I saw somebody, Giles, I think it was, mention about field goals aren't going to get it done against the Pats, and you're right, they won't. But at the same time, the way the Ravens defense, and here's my school of thought on this, the way the Ravens defense was, points at a premium, they come few and far between. I'm okay with kicking a bunch of field goals against a team like the Ravens, as long as the Chargers got up to the lead first, which they did, didn't turn off, basically took care of the ball for the most part, which they did. And then they finally eventually got into the end zone, which they did. You know, one touch. This game was going to come down to like a touchdown and a handful of field goals. So, you know, they stuck to their game plan. Yeah, what is it when they forced the turnover? Had it in close. You want to see them get in on that one. That would have been nice to have that touchdown there. When they ran it 3 times and got stuffed all 3 times, should have scored a touchdown there. Just dead serious. But, you know, other than that, they took care of the ball and they executed, and that's worth more than anything. And the Chargers defense just played so well today. I cannot give those boys enough credit, and Gus Bradley enough credit to, you know, getting them situated, ready to go. And yeah, excited. This Bears game is boring. Yeah, I'm not even. I'm gonna glance at it. I'm gonna basically work on stuff the whole rest of the afternoon. Chargers are the only team in the postseason after beating the Ravens with the best defense. Jack Boy's starving, y'all. Hey, big facts, Tony. It's there, bro. That's rather genius. Are Patriot gonna spank that ass? We'll see. I mean, again, statement of the week. I haven't seen the Patriots do anything convincing that show they're the same dominant Patriots. They're still the Patriots. It's still Belichick, and it's still Tom Brady. So you got to come with everything you got. I'm not trying to take anything away, but you look at this year's Patriots team, you look at last year's Patriots team, you look at the Patriots teams a couple years ago, like this one isn't as dominant. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to pull the weak division card, but so bro, you got to get those monitors that kick out. Oh yeah. No, I don't live stream a whole lot, so I need to make somebody a moderator. That's why it's like this was like an impromptu stream. I wasn't even planning on it. I literally woke up this morning and was thinking, do I do a stream before the game? And I was just anxious and nervous and freaking out. And then what was I gonna say? Yeah, and then I was trying to get ready for people to come over and, you know, get breakfast going. So I was like, I'll do a reaction, win or lose, no matter what. I'm going to go live so we can all talk about it together. Pow wow, you know what I'm saying, TD Nation. But, you know, it worked out in our favor, and it's a happy stream and not a sad stream. So linebacker, safety, or defensive tackle, first-round pick. I honestly am happy with defensive line. I would say first-round linebacker, I think, just to add some depth. Not to say that the Chargers don't have good linebackers. They're just all hurt right now. So I would definitely go linebacker for depth reasons, for sure. The guy once again missed tackles and wasn't effective. I hope he doesn't cost us. I don't think he will. Jenkins is getting a lot more playing time. I think Gus Bradley's like moving some stuff around to figure it out. So actually, how many? Let's see. I mean, Jaleel had 3 tackles, 4 assisted tackles. So he was there. Just, you know, he wasn't like a Melvin Ingram with 7 tackles or Derwin with 4. Actually, Jaleel was 3rd on the team in tackles and assisted tackles. So he still made plays. You know, it's just I know he's under a spotlight right now. So everything he does or misses, it's, you know. Plus, you know, he's probably getting picked on by other teams' offenses. So thinking the Chargers D had a similar game plan the way we beat the Chiefs at Arrowhead. Both teams have great tight end play. Gronkowski says, yeah, I would agree. And then you don't have to worry about the mobility of Mahomes against the Patriots. So there's that. You know, granted, the offensive schemes, they'll do a lot to slow down the Chargers pass rush, and it's half of the reason the Patriots are so good is game planning. You know, let's be honest. They're just great game planners, period. Not just saying because Belichick, like their execution. You can't make mistakes against the Patriots because they seldom make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? So I think just getting a pass rush on them. Shoot, Derwin will probably be head-to-head against Gronk quite a bit in the game. And then you have the speed at DB to keep up with the wide receivers. So here now will not be easy. That's just how the playoffs is. But we had to go through adversity to hold it. Yeah. No, my motto always, to be the best, you got to beat the best. So there's no easy game in the playoffs. If there's no point in time where it's like, who would you rather play? I mean, yeah, you can speculate and do all that, but I don't really like getting into that personally, just because that's like, I hope this team plays this team. And it's like, nah, whoever's in front of you, you got to figure out a way to beat them, you know? if this other team wins this team, and I know matchups are something to talk about, and some teams just straight up match up better than other teams, you know. But if one team beats this team and that's the team you wanted, but they beat the team you didn't want, so you know there's still something to be worried about. Chargers suck. They lost. When? They will lose. Patriots for life. You gotta fix your English. I don't know what you're trying to say. Jason Verrett, bring him back or drop him. Bring him back if he signs for a veteran minimum. I would not be upset with that at all. Obviously, bring him back on a 1 year, veteran minimum 1 year, and see what he can do. I wouldn't be upset with it. You know, he's a stud when he's on the field. It's just the poor guy, man, hasn't been able to play for the last 3 years. Like, I truly, honestly feel for him. Like, it's not even whether he was on my team, another team. Like, that's so hard to be like, you're a top prospect. You know, you go to TCU, you get drafted in the first round. You know, you get your shot with a team, and in just 3 years, you haven't been able to see the field, and your body's giving up on you. You know, you're doing everything you can do. You're mentally grinding and preparing and rehabbing, and your body just gives out on you, you know, on multiple occasions. Like, it's just hard, man. I feel for the guy. It's just tough, man. Did the Chargers win? Yeah, they did. Check the scoreboard. I'm a Ravens fan, and I can say that y'all defense snapped. Like, they gave up, or they snapped and did well. Patriots lie. Hey, man, know your facts. That's all I'm going to say. Not trying to be a cocky prick or anything like that. I'm just saying, if you're going to come out with fire in the chat, just be prepared. I'll admit when I'm wrong when someone fact checks me. So see y'all next week. Haha, y'all going to get your booty hole gape. Chat, you want to let me know what the motto of the stream is with the Patriots? What my motto with the Patriots is? They did really good. Okay, got it. That's sorry. I'm not up to date with the lingo. I don't know if that's a Maryland saying. My bad. But yeah, no, they played both. I mean, both defenses played well. I mean, Ravens defense is no joke. The Ravens defense is so good. Yeah, it's just, you know, Lamar Jackson has been making, you know, highly athletic plays and getting things done with his legs a lot. And the Chargers came up with a game plan to stop that and said, go ahead and throw. We're just going to continue. So we'll see. I can't see the Chargers beat New England. Explain. Stay mad. ASAP, any squad, any place, boat gang or don't bang. You already know what it is. Quote Melvin Ingram 2018. I already deflated balls. Oh, God. Okay, we're losing, guys. They deflated the balls already. We lost. Lamar did well. Not. Ravens defense is better than the Patriots. Yes. And he's going to. All right, I'm just going off chat by this time. Let's hang out with the chat. Ravens showed up, but we managed the right plays at the right time. Those field goals were things to be. Dude, money badge. I might have to get his jersey, man. Show some love to the kicker. My only memory of Jason Verrett is that pick he had against the Raiders to seal the game. Yep, when he caught the interception falling out of bounds and then celebrated on his way down. Yeah. I mean, he just, again, he can ball. He's somebody who's got the speed to keep up with anybody, and you know, scrappiness 100. So, you know, the bigger receivers, he still can go up against them and give them problems. Keep Verrett, but as a backup. I mean, just keep Verrett in general. Like, you can't have too many DBs. The DBs have been playing great. You know what I'm saying? So nervous when the Ravens are coming back. I was nervous too. As a Charger fan, you have to get nervous because that's usually when bad stuff happens. Your Rivers Gates that ring. Yes, amen to that. Ingram showed up today. He did 2 sacks, 7 tackles. My man's was a beast. I don't know if y'all saw, he had those Air Jordan 1 custom cleats on. He needs to wear those the rest of the playoffs. Actually, matter of fact, I'm going to tweet at him right now. Guys, go to my Twitter, retweet the tweet that I'm about to tweet. Ingram. Those custom. Post to see that. And then I need to you throw some emojis on it. You get the 100 one. Bam, and then what do you do? This is live tweets with Dizzy, aka Derek from the TD Diaries. Boom, tweeted. Everybody retweet that so he sees it. But yeah, where are we at? Eric Hood, no TD Bears, Chargers 1. Rivers best. Hey, facts. Rivers, goat. He's got wheels. The man's got running ability, elusiveness. What's your Twitter? LMAO, I knew. All right, well, some random dude. Here's my random Twitter. It's what is it? Should be. Oh, it's not in the description. I just realized. Oh, that sucks. Here, let me at Dizzy _HURTA. Bam, there it is. Or look me up on Twitter. Retweet that most recent tweet. The Simpsons and Chiefs win this year. Weddle low-key happy for Chargers. I don't think so. No, Weddle is. I've heard him on what is it? Earlier this year, he was on the gym. Last year, he was on the Jim Rome podcast. Salty as hell still. Didn't want nothing to do with the organization. He went out of his way during the Ravens game to bypass any, because there were Charger fans still trying to show him love when they played at StubHub Center, and he didn't even look at him, went straight to the Ravens fans, and only showed love to them and walked away and went back in the locker room. There were Charger fans with his jerseys trying to be like, yo, Weddle, like, we miss you, blah, 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 blah. He didn't even show love to them. So, it is what it is. I've bet 3,500 on the Patriots winning the Super Bowl. Okay. I personally do not sports bet ever. I'm not against it or anything. It's just I don't ever bet on anything to do with my teams. So yeah, I just don't. It's just bad juju for me. You're going to be shocked once we beat the Patriots. No one's probably giving us a chance again. That's fine. Chargers play better when they're underdog, so I'm okay with that. Dr. Philip Rivers after the dissection on Pat's defense. Weddle's a jerk. I mean, to each their own. He has his own, everyone is human. They have their own way of handling situations. If that's how he wants to act, it is what it is. I'm not going to get into details with that whole scenario. I explained it in one of my last live streams, which was, I don't know when it was, but yeah. Bet against the Bolts, you lose. What's up? Good game, Chief Ridgeway. Oh yeah. How's that bye week coming, man? What's up with the Colts? How do you feel about Trevor losing his spot to Davis? I mean, it is what it is. Like, you can't get mad because look at the depth they have at DB, and Davis is playing really, really well. So what are you supposed to do? Jackson played better than Rivers? No. Chargers lost to the Rams, like they're going to lose to the Rams in the Super Bowl, or they lost to the Rams at the beginning of the season? Because yes, they did. I was at that game. That was a long time ago. That was September. The best man play. This is the Chargers Super Bowl. We'll see. An LA Super Bowl would be interesting. It would be very interesting. I miss Trevor. I do too. Trevor Williams was nice. Isn't Trevor hurt? Yeah, he's, I think, a leg injury or something like that, and missed the rest of the year. He was out, and that's why Mikey Davis came in. Weddle had a family reunion at StubHub. Yeah, no, he's from the Inland Empire. He's from the 909, I want to say. So, yeah, because he's a Lakers fan too. Yeah, he had a bunch of family members there. Isn't Desmond King a corner and in the Pro Bowl? Why don't they start him at cornerback? Technically, he's a safety. So they've been playing him at nickel, like when they get into three cornerback sets. So he technically covers either the slot or the tight end a lot of the times. That's just how they ended up using him last season, and it just carried over to this season. I think the plan was to use him at safety more this season, but because of Verrett going down and then Trevor Williams going down, they said, all right, well, you played well in the nickel. You're going to have to keep doing that for us. Obviously, Derwin is Derwin, so you can't not – oh, I just knocked my whole everything over. Derwin's Derwin, so you can't not play him. So, and, they knew they could count on King in the nickel. Is Henry playing against New England? We don't know yet. I want to say Monday they have to make a decision on him, otherwise he'll end up on IR. So we'll see what happens. They most certainly could use him, but obviously we're talking about Hunter Henry's the rest of his career, versus having him for a game or two. So the rest of the career is more important, especially when he's your tight end of the future for sure. Just use idiot shows up for paycheck. I mean, he wasn't on the active position. He can't make that decision. So rest were on Ravens side. Adrian Phillips, man. Adrian Phillips, can we talk about him going undrafted, going to the practice squad, active roster, practice squad, wave, practice squad, active squad, wave, practice, like resiliency, man. That's why you keep keeping on, and you just wait for your opportunity, and he's done so. So I'm happy for him. You're lit? No, I'm not lit. I'm just tired. I only slept 4 hours last night. You almost choked. You can imagine what would have happened if. We'll see you next week. That's all I'm gonna say. The Rivers has not and will not win a Super Bowl with the Chargers. Thank you for your opinion. AP is a stud. Yep, he is a stud. What about Super Melvin? Yeah, Conrad, we talked about him a little bit earlier. Led the team in tackles, led the team in sacks, just absolutely showed up. That's why I tweeted at him saying, yo, those Jordan 1 cleats, keep wearing those because you balled out in those things. So keep it on. Facing left the game. Oh, Ingram. ASAP. Going to the Super Bowl. We'll see. One game at a time. And not to take away from confidence. Like, if you guys are confident, talk all that. It's just my personal thing. I never want to say anything that gets too ahead of myself. So one game at a time, 1 week at a time. It's on to New England, and we'll see what happens, and we'll go from there. Let the chips fall where they may, and that's it. Take it 1 week at a time. I love the hate. Bring the hate. Bring all the smoke. Yeah. No, Hunter Henry would be a huge to get him back. Hunter Henry would be huge. Like, it's just another weapon on offense. That they haven't had all year. They haven't had, Virgil Green has done a great job. Gates has picked up some of the load too as well, making catches. But to have like a number one pass catching tight end, that would be sick to have, especially against the Patriots. I'm more scared of the Colts. I kind of am a little bit too. They're that team because there's always like the team that dominated all season and best records, whatever, 1 seed, 2 seed. I'm always more afraid of the team that gets hot at the right time. You look at some of the teams that have won the Super Bowl from the wild card spot. They got hot at the right time and just didn't cool off and just, boom, 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 all the way through wild card round, divisional round, conference, Super Bowl. Sometimes that can be just as dangerous when you get hot at the right time. Because it's not, you don't want to look too far ahead, but sometimes you go under the radar, The Colts weren't really like a lot of teams weren't viewing the Colts as a problem. And then now here they are in the playoffs playing, phenomenal football. Andrew Luck is finally back to being himself on the field, first of all, and then second back to being himself. Eric Ebron has been just having a monster season. T.Y. Hilton is still one of the biggest threats in the game at wide receiver, and they got a bit of a running game too. So, they got the, all the ingredients for a complete offense. We got Dontrell Inman, man. I'm happy for the dude. I'm worried if we face off against the Colts, but I'm happy for Dontrell Inman because he was one of my favorites when he was with the Chargers. Just because I know he fought like hell to stay on that roster. And made plays when he was called upon. When other wide receivers went down, he came up big time. So the fact that he's on a team contributing to an NFL team, I'm happy for him. Yes, it's like, you want him doing that for your team when he's a former ex-Charger, but at the same time, you can't help but be happy for the guy, like he's making plays. He came from the Canadian Football League. You like those stories because he had to fight and claw his way into the league and to maintain a place, especially at wide receiver. I feel like wide receiver, unless you're freakishly tall or freakishly athletic or both, you're kind of disposable unless you're making plays, Like when you get to the 3rd string, 4th string, 5th string wide receivers, I mean, you're literally like you could be shuffled at any moment. Dropped, pick up another guy from practice squad. Sign a new guy. You look at some of these veterans like Des Bryant was just kind of like because he was slowing down. Teams were like, we can find that anywhere for cheaper. So unless less age, more upside. Harry Slender versus Derwin James, Phillip versus Luck, Inman revenge, Frank Reich revenge. I kind of need it, to be honest. Imagine that after Rivers and Brady. I mean, that'd be sick. Imagine if the Chargers would have kept Frank Reich and then fired McCoy and got a different head coach. But everything plays out for a reason. You know what I'm saying? It's you can't look at that stuff. It's just I love Anthony Lynn. I love the passion. I love that he's a leader. I love that he brings that leadership as a head coach. But at the same time, I love Wiz. People are critical of his play call and the timing of certain calls. But I love Gus Bradley as defensive coordinator. Obviously, he defensive coordinator for the Seahawks during the Legion of Boom era. So everything happens for a reason, Can hold him when he's like 1 or 2. Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing. He was playing very well. So you can't keep him low on the depth chart when he can go somewhere else and get paid for, being a wide receiver too. But the Rivers will never get a ring ever. Cool. When people talk about Chargers, all you hear is Gates and Rivers. Yeah, because that's what the media chooses to cover. I mean, there was LT, there was, Sean Merriman, who as good as he was for a little bit. There was Cromartie. Chargers had Drew Brees back in the day, and then you go back, what about Junior Seau? It's just that's what people choose to talk about right now, I don't know about you. I hear a lot about Derwin James right now, being that he's one of the candidates or should be a candidate for defensive rookie of the year. In my honest opinion, should be defensive rookie of the year. But I know the linebacker for the Colts, I know there's a linebacker out there who's like basically it's between him and Derwin. So, but yeah, I mean, it's whatever you choose. Granted, I don't know where my Patriots boy was. I don't know if you're on the East Coast too. So media is a little bit different depending on what coast you're on. Chargers don't get a lot of national coverage, so the little coverage. I'm in Atlanta. Okay, so yeah, I guess in the South, but just like we don't hear much about the Falcons out here. Sure they don't talk about the Chargers a lot over there. And unless you're the Cowboys, the Patriots, this season, the Rams and the Chiefs, you're not really getting talked about like that all the time, So, what do we got? Who do I want to talk to? Would you rather have a die or Swearinger? I don't know. Based on just on paper, Swearinger, but the Chargers won't sign Swearinger. Because of the nature of why he was cut from the Redskins. I don't know, obviously, if for anyone who pays attention, the Chargers do not sign those problematic players. It has led to them not going after certain talent when they could have. But at the same time, you look at their locker room and all those guys are like class act guys. All those guys. Pouncey's probably the biggest risk they've taken in a long time on like a player character type of standpoint. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that Swearinger was cut because of his comments to the coaching staff publicly, the Chargers don't ever pick up any guys who do that. They get the guys who remain professional. They don't have any altercations. It's part of the reason they let Vincent Jackson go. Half of it was the money he was asking for and the way he was holding out. And then the other half is like the dude had like DUI after DUI and caught with driving with a suspended license. So like because he had all those off the field distractions, they kind of like did away with him. So same thing with Weddle. I'm not going to talk about it too much, but there was a lot of off the field distractions. The way he made his contract negotiation public, that the Chargers were like, we're not trying to deal with this. So you can walk. Pouncey didn't even have a bad character. Ian Rapp said he's great locker room guy. The cut was based on money. It was more. I say that with the whole bullying thing. Remember, there was like one of the Dolphins players like put on his Instagram story a shotgun and some shells and said like, "You take this in your own hands." And Pouncey's name came up in the whole locker room bullying. Granted, obviously the Chargers interviewed him, talked to it about him, and saw that it was probably just a situation that got out of hand. But at the same time, like that's all I say is like that's the biggest risk. Like it wasn't even like that big of a thing where he was convicted of something or caught of something. The Dolphins let him go or let him walk because of that whole situation. So that's all I meant by that. I love Vincent though. He was one of my favorite players back in the day. Oh, and my Weddle, so glad he got payback. But I'm happy they got revenge, especially in the playoffs. Hurts more. Yeah, no. My Eric Weddle jersey is the only authentic, like the $300 super expensive football jerseys. It's the only one I've ever bought is Eric Weddle. I bought it when he first signed his 5-year deal. Vincent Jackson was nice, but yeah, he had the one season where he basically held out the entire time. And yeah, the Chargers just have never really caved into that. Well, look at Bosa, look at Gates and when he was a rookie, he held out. That's just how they do. They don't really budge until there's some sort of compromise, and when the player holds out to get what they want, the Chargers are like, all right, we can do this all day then. And they have. So Lamar Jackson's going to be scary in the future. He made some very nice throws towards the end. Yeah, no, I'm definitely team Lamar Jackson. I was saying this. I wouldn't have been mad had the Chargers picked him up this past draft. Not in the first round. They needed defense in the first round, and they got a stud. But if Lamar would have fell to the second round to them, why not? He would more upside than Geno probably. But yeah, it's just a matter of time. Yeah, I mean he can with the right coaching, with the right development, he can work on the throwing. You don't come into the league as a rookie. You're either the most accurate QB of all time or you're not. You can develop. So the next 2, 3, 4 years, especially next year, because people know what he is and everyone's going to know how to play him. So the next 2, 3 years are really going to say a lot. If he can become more of a pocket passer, even just improve a little bit. Like you look at Cam Newton. Cam Newton was all run, and he was just a big old bully of a runner at quarterback. And then teams figured out how to slow him down a little bit, so he had to figure out how to throw because he couldn't throw. So then he's not going to tear you up with his arm, but Cam at least can make some throws now, and then still he has his legs if he needs it. So that's what Lamar needs to do is he needs to be able to hang in the pocket, make his reads, maybe, with the full offseason training camp, if he is the future, they'll be able to readjust the offense, retool the offense that's most best suited for him rather than just like, all right, halfway through the season, we're going to switch it up and, run this different offense we haven't ran all season. So it'll come around. I firmly believe the same thing could have happened to RG3 had Shanahan not run him into the ground in the playoffs. But, we'll see. It's really up to the coaching staff and how they develop him. Why are people asking TD for status updates on players? He's not a reporter for the team. LMAO. Hunter Henry can be signed or placed back on IR tomorrow. Yep, that's it. I wish I had inside access like that. I wish I had the media pass and I was up there on the sidelines. I wish I had I was one of those guys like. Now, Philip, in the third quarter, we noticed that this current event happened. Can you elaborate more on that? Actually, no, because those people annoy me, so I don't want to be that. I'd rather have that camera and be in the locker room chilling and just hanging. I'm a YouTuber, not a sports journalist. So I only know what's on Twitter. Your best bet, find who is it? Eric Williams. He's the beat reporter for the Chargers. Chris Hayes, a couple other guys. Just look up all the people who cover the Chargers in the media, and that's your best bet. Go with them. Follow them on Twitter, and that's where you can get all your updates from when they happen. But if you do want to know, since I do have the information, basically the Chargers have till tomorrow to figure out if they're going to activate Hunter Henry. He's on a physically unable to perform list, meaning that he has 3 weeks the Chargers have 3 weeks to see if they're going to activate him to the active roster, and he doesn't count against one of the 53 spots. But they have a 21-day window in order to decide that. And if they don't activate him, then he goes on IR, and we won't see him till next season. Quick prediction for next week. I got Bolts 27-24. I think that's more accurate. I saw some people quoting that for this week's game. And honestly, it was whoever was going to score 20 points. One team was going to score more than 20 and less than 20. Whoever scored more than 20 points was going to win. Bolts 10, Pats 21, a tie. You can't have a tie. They keep doing overtimes. You just there's no ties, man. Is anyone else scared to see the Chiefs again? I mean, you have to be. I mean, I'm honestly nervous about the Patriots. I've been saying the Patriots are the Patriots for a reason, but they haven't done enough to impress me this season. So I'm not as worried as I would have been maybe 3 years ago. But I mean, the Chiefs, we'll see. Next week, we'll see. The Chiefs Colts game, regardless of who we play, or I should say, sorry, who the Chargers play the following week, if they advance, because you have to worry about the Patriots and the Patriots only. But from a football standpoint, whoever advances from Chargers Patriots, if the Chiefs beat the Colts, we'll see what kind of performance that Mahomes has, not only in the playoffs, but you look at Andrew Luck. And I mean, I named it earlier. They have a kind of complete offense as far as position pieces. They're going to put points up on the Chiefs' suspect defense. And in the playoffs, when you need a stop, I don't know that the Chiefs get it. It'll literally come down to a shootout. And can that win? Can that win? And can that be sustained in the playoffs? We'll see. That'll be the question for next week. Who said someone built like Humpty Dumpty? Damn, that's disrespectful. It'd be a great couple games. I'm excited, man. These playoffs, man. Doesn't Dean want his own stadium? I don't think it really. Okay. So I don't like talking about this, but own stadium. What does it matter? Yeah, as an owner, you want to be able to say, look at my stadium. I am a billionaire. Here is my stadium. But they got a new stadium. That's all they really wanted. So, yeah, you may not own it, but, you're still playing in a brand new state-of-the-art stadium. So, and I love the Chargers in San Diego. If you've been around on this channel for a while, I wish they were still in San Diego, but Qualcomm's a dump. It was our dump, but it was a dump. It was a straight concrete structure that looked like a prison from the outside. So they needed a new stadium. City didn't want to work with them. The ownership handled it how he handled it. It is what it is. At the end of the day, the Dean got a new stadium to play in. That's it. So yeah, it may not be yours. It may not be Chargers Stadium. It's split between Rams and Chargers, or technically the Rams own it, but you still got a new stadium. So now the part that they miscalculated was that they thought they were just going to carry their San Diego fan base with them, and then all these LA fans were going to come out of the woodworks and start rooting for them, and that didn't happen. So that's an uphill grind, and that's the miscalculation, but they have a new stadium. So anyways, that's all we're going to talk about that, by the way. So if you put it in the chat, it's not getting answered. Not trying to be rude. I've made videos about it. I've talked about it extensively. There's no amount of talking about it that can change anything. So I just want to be happy for this win. You know what I'm saying? I want to be happy for this playoffs. I choose to let the politics be the politics. And personally for me, I found happiness just worrying about, the games on the field and the players wearing the jerseys. So that's just me. Everyone's different. That's just me. We are 0-7 against Brady's Patriots. 0-7 against Brady's Patriots when, though? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it? Philip said it best. You can make stats say whatever you want them to say. When the Chargers beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead, you were 0-9 previously. And then Rivers said it best. Yeah, you're 0-9 in the last 10 years. And then the 10 years before that, the Chargers were 8-2 against the Chiefs. So, it is what it is. Yeah. So what? That was the first 7 times. Who's to say number 8 won't be different? If anything, I would say the law of averages, meaning Chargers are due for a win. If they're 0-7, they're due for one. Then the probability of them winning, that's how probabilities work. The probability of winning is good because they're due for one. Yeah, they didn't play this season. So unless they played this season, I wouldn't really be too concerned about what's happened in the past. You know what I'm saying? What about the Super Bowls? Brady lost because of pressure by the defense. Brady has never played. this defense we have this year. Exactly. They don't have, they have tape from other teams, but they have obviously this tape, but they haven't seen them in person. So that's kind of fun. That's interesting and exciting. So, hey, I'm here, TD. How are you? What's up, JoJo? Welcome to the stream. Will Hunter Henry play a big role in offense next week? Depends if he gets activated tomorrow. Until that happens, who knows? And even if he does get activated, I would assume he's on a pitch count. So he probably would only be in on a few snaps. They would definitely still play a lot of Virgil Green and a lot of Antonio Gates. A little of Antonio Gates. Probably bring Antonio Gates on third downs like they did. So much defense to the draft. Yes, you have to have draft defense. I mean, at the end of the day, you obviously have your guys that you want. Okay, talking draft, and then we're going to leave the draft until we get to the draft because I don't like spending time in the draft when we're still in the postseason. Here's the thing with the draft. You have your position needs. You have more than one that you want to improve on. And then you have your guys that you want to go after. But sometimes in the draft, you just have to go, what's the best value at that position? You look at the Chargers. Derwin James was on the board, fell all the way to 17. You get him, no brainer, because he's there. They probably were looking at linebacker. They probably were looking at defensive linemen because they needed to beef that up. And here's the stud out of Florida State who's still on the board. Let's just go get him. They still got a linebacker. They got two linebackers, solid linebackers. Nwasu's been solid. Kazir White, unfortunately, got hurt, but he was playing so well when he was on the field. And then you got Justin Jones. What's his name? He got a sack today. And he's another draft pick who didn't play much in the regular season, but stepped up big time, got a sack. And he was hyped too. So happy for that dude too. ATD, they should get rid of Jones, 35. I miss Drew Kaiser. That's all I'm going to say. But is there a punter off the street you can sign? That's, you know what I mean? It's in the postseason, you're kind of stuck with who you're stuck with. But yeah, he had some ugly punts. The one he got blocked, he took forever and a day to punt it. So yeah, he took his time. The Charger in San Diego. The Chargers being in San Diego would have had nothing to do with those losses. I firmly believe it was coaching staff. Los Angeles, San Diego doesn't impact your play. The fact that they have a no-nonsense guy at head coach in Anthony Lynn, something they didn't have in McCoy and Norv Turner, and then the coordinators they have, especially Gus Bradley. Gus Bradley is an amazing coordinator on the defensive side of the ball. So Marty 14-2, same thing. It has nothing to do with being in San Diego. It's if Marlon McCree gives himself up and goes down, or better yet, I saw a lot of the defensive players go down with the ball. Remember that when the Ravens scored, the Crabtree scored the touchdown, and they lined up like they're defending an onside kick. They kicked it deep. Travis Benjamin caught it and went down. That's coaching. That's getting your guys ready to, if you're in this situation, hit the ground. And again, that 14-2 game against the Patriots, I was at that game. I saw it happen live in person. Your coaching staff or just has to, if you're in this situation, get the ball and go down. Or like, what are you going to accomplish by returning it? Get what you can and go down, Imagine if we had Richard Sherman. I mean, it would be nice, but I don't think he's the same Richard Sherman he was back with the Seahawks. So he's still nice. Don't get me wrong, but I like where this team's at. I like the speed. I like where everyone's at. It's a younger team, but there's so much like this. This team's definitely built to be good until Rivers hangs it up. The biggest question mark, and it's not going to be next year, the year after, the year after that. I think Rivers got a solid 3 more years left. Who do they bring in to replace Rivers? That'll be the big question mark. But this team is set up to, even when that transition does have to happen, the defense is set up to be good for a number of years. You got a lot of 1, 2, 3 year players, 4-year players. On offense, you got Keenan, who's going to be here for a few years. Mike Williams is going to be here for a few years. If they still keep Tyrell, they'll have that. If not, they'll probably find another option. They've got a lot of upside on this team, so that's what's good. Melvin Ingram has the better game. Do you anticipate Casey Hayward starting next year? I do. He's had some uncharacteristic plays. I can't necessarily say that he's regressed tremendously. I think it's just one of those things that nobody was expecting him. He basically played slot cornerback for the Packers for a few years, and then he came over to the Chargers, and now he's a number one and one of the better corners in the league. So I think half of it is they don't throw his way nearly as much as they did, where before they didn't know what he was capable of, picked on him a lot, and he made people pay. I think where it is now is, okay, we know he's a problem, so let's put our guy in a situation to win those matchups. So I think it'll be definitive next season. Does he come back and win those matchups? You know what I mean? It's a big game of chess, is really what it is. And you look at the Ravens offense, they had this, they almost do this RPO type offense that a lot of teams have been doing, and it's been working this season. Next season won't work as much, and probably in 2 years you'll see it gone. Remember the Wildcat? The Wildcat was unstoppable for a year or two until everyone figured out how to stop it, and then it was gone. Everything goes in trends and phases in the league. Things that work right now don't always work. So just like anything, even in the individual matchups, you'll see guys come out and ball out, and then you might see them the next year take a step back. And then what really defines them on that third year is, okay, how do they go from here? Or that fourth year, those are the great ones because they stay great for so long versus, this guy came out hot and then we didn't ever hear his name ever again. So should get rid of Hayward, Addae, and Mebane and Legit. Legit, they might. I think they extended him another year. Legit's solid. He's just fortunately got hurt. He was a big help when he came in on the defensive line. We'll see. It's also about who's available. Like, it's easy to sit here and say, okay, get rid of this guy, get rid of this guy, get rid of this guy. But is there an improvement? You know what I mean? It's just like with quarterbacks. Like, some people will say call for quarterbacks to like, oh, this guy's got to go. Okay, but who are you going to bring in that's better? You look at I'll use the example of Dak Prescott for the Cowboys. You look at Dak Prescott. I know the Cowboys until they went on this because the Cowboys. Oh yeah, Cowboys number one, go to the Super Bowl just because they got all won a playoff game finally. You look at the beginning of the season, and a lot of the Cowboys fans and media were saying, "Okay, Dak's got to go," and then you look at it now, and he's like, "Oh, Dak led them to victory," and all this stuff. And if you get rid of Dak, is there someone out there who makes your team better? That's really what it comes down to. And unless you have that, you can't really call for someone to be gone. You from LA? I'm from Orange County. Quick backstory: I'm from Orange County. Our family had Charger season tickets in San Diego since the 80s. My pops had them. I took them over once I got old enough and basically had a job that I could afford them. Took them over in San Diego for the last couple of years until after 2016 when they relocated up to LA. So I'm like halfway in between. But I'm about to be 28 years old in March, and I've never known anything. WTF, he's not from SD. Nah, I'm from Orange County. My girlfriend, Tanya, lives in San Diego. So I'm in San Diego. I was in San Diego over New Year's weekend. So I'm back and forth between Orange County and San Diego all the time. I miss Nate Kading. No, you are Killer Anthony. You are all alone on that. Nobody misses Nate Kading. We have 2 Hall of Famers, so we'll definitely get the Patriots like Keenan Michael. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm just excited. The Patriots. It's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be, again, they don't make mistakes, so that's really what it is. Nate Kading troll spotted. Money badge. What about rumors of Jalen Ramsey being available? Chargers aren't. I would be down to get Jalen Ramsey. That'd be sick. Have Jalen Ramsey and Derwin James on the same defense. But we'll see. Obviously, it's I don't think they'd be afraid if they could just like throw some draft picks for Jalen Ramsey, because obviously you don't want to lose anything that you have. You basically just need to throw draft picks for Jalen Ramsey. But I mean, They need to be in a win now mentality for obviously this year because we're there in the postseason, and then next season and the season after that, it has to be full steam ahead. Everything you got, put a team together and let's get this thing done. You know what's crazy? We had Drew Kaiser this year. That's what I'm saying. Drew Kaiser had a good leg. It's just apparently he had holding problems. So then they brought in Sturgis's holder, and then he still couldn't kick him straight. So then they brought in Badgley, who's amazing, and then Badgley's one missed kick today that got blocked. Donnie Jones messed up the hold. So go figure, man. Go figure. I don't know. I'm glad that's not my job to do that. So to figure out who needs to be in there. The so-called Chargers fan is funny. Not once did he show up during the season. Now this team got lucky. He posts up a video and brags about the win. If the idiotic Ravens pay Flacco, they win. What do you mean the so-called? Okay. I'm going to need you, KC3182, go to the rest of my channel. Go to the last nearly 3 years of uploads. Go to, there's a video that's titled The Last Game. Go ahead and watch that all the way through and then come back to the chat if I'm still live. Why do you two live far apart? Why none of you most closer to each other? Because, man, rent's expensive in Southern California. Working on it. To be continued. Bring back all steroid Sean lights out Merriman. Dizzy, what up, Mario? Punter first round. Yes. Do it. Why not? No, honestly, yeah, that might be a draft pick need. They might draft the punter. I wouldn't be mad at it. Not first round, but I wouldn't mind using a draft pick on a punter. If there's like a guy that they want, why not? Donnie Jones signing was a flop. It was. And in hindsight, it was. It made sense at the time because they brought him in more for holding than punting reasons. And then they ended up getting rid of the guy that they wanted him to hold for. So who knows? But now Drew Kaiser is a Raider, so we can't go back to that. I believe the Chargers are good. Anyway, there's 8-1 on the road, so we're heading to Patriots Stadium. Patriots only win because they play the easy team. Yep, there's that argument. Patriots are due for at least 5 wins in their own division because usually they lose to the Dolphins once in a random game. But you beat the Jets twice. You beat the you beat the Jets twice. You beat the Bills twice. You beat the Dolphins once. You're 5-1, and you have the best record within the division. You just need to win like 5 more games, and you're good. So they pretty much have one of the easiest and have had one of the easiest roads to the playoffs. Granted, they've obviously gotten it done in the postseason to at least make the Super Bowl appearances and then win as many as they've won. And there have been a few times where they were just that good. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to take anything away from the Patriots. They obviously do what they need to do to win when they need to win. But, I mean, I would like to see them in the AFC West. You know what I'm saying? Flip the Chargers and the Patriots in division somehow by virtue of taking California and putting it over here and see what happens. Interesting. Food for thought. I stay in Mission Valley, San Diego. That's what's up. Yeah. Fun story. Basically, we would go into games. We would either park at Old Town, go eat at Old Town Mexican Cafe, take the trolley into the game, or we would obviously tailgate La A4, basically hanging out with the Bolt Pride tailgate and all that stuff. My girlfriend's older brother used to DJ for the Bolt Pride tailgate parties in San Diego. So we'd be chilling, getting it in, tailgating, hanging out with everyone. Good times, man. Good times. We match up well. The Pats got to play 60 to get the dub. Coachella Valley 760. Shout out to the 760. Sound crazy as, 5-time champion win previously. You know what I'm saying? What we're talking about this season right now. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying it's going to be easy at all. They're the Patriots for a reason. They're Bill Belichick and Tom Brady for a reason. All I'm saying is the Patriots really haven't done a whole lot this season that makes you go, wow, what a team. They're good. They're in the postseason. They're second seed. That's all facts. But there's no reason to assume that it's a done deal. Patriots are going to win, no questions asked. And I'm definitely not saying the adverse for the Chargers. I'm just saying we'll see what happens on Sunday. Is Marquette King available? He might be. I wouldn't be mad at getting Marquette King, but then he's had the same thing. Remember when I talked about the Chargers not signing players that are like quote unquote problematic? Now, granted, it's a unique situation, but he did go off on the Broncos reporter during training camp. So we'll see. Luck will beat KC. I mean, they're the Colts are the hot team right now. One of the hot teams. So we'll see. Tougher places, but I almost had a heart attack on each Seattle, Pittsburgh. Yep. But a win's a win. A win's a win. But you lose, a loss is a loss. So it is what it is. You just got to roll with it. But I'm confident simply for the fact that the Chargers have been able to find ways to win. You know what I mean? Even when they're ugly games, they found ways to win them. So just subscribe, TD. I appreciate it, Martin. Thank you for the sub. You're amazing. Welcome to the TD Nation. Patriots actually beat the Chiefs in the regular season. So there's that. I'll throw that in there. Patriots look worn down this season. I think this year. They might. They like I said, there's nobody explosive. Again, Tom Brady's Tom Brady, but there's nobody like explosive, But it'll still take a full A-game effort because they're the Patriots. Their execution is phenomenal. They don't make mistakes. So regardless if they've regressed, you could have an uber talented team. You look at the Chiefs. They're super duper ridiculously offensive talented. They lost to the Chargers at home. They lost to the Rams. Granted, it was one of the best games in NFL history. They lost to the Rams. They lost to the Patriots. They lost some of their bigger games. Who else they lose to? They lost to somebody else. Whoever they lost to in Week 16, they lost to them too. So they can be had. Get rid of Vic Williams. Where is Vic Williams? Here, I got him. Where is he? Vic. Has he said anything reckless, though? Why would you get rid of Okung? Oh, my young Bolt fans, I pray for you. Too many weapons if Hunter Henry comes. Just kidding. Doesn't mean they're overrated. But, yeah. The thing is next week nobody's getting a whooping. Nobody's getting dominated. What? Come on, webcam, focus. There you go. Nobody's getting dominated. I honestly think it's gonna be a like within one possession game. Like, there's no reason the Chargers are gonna. There's no reason to think that the Chargers are gonna blow out the Patriots and vice versa. The Patriots aren't gonna blow out the Chargers. It'll really come down to execution. Point blank. Period. That's it. Execution. How many of us went to see Bolts play at the StubHub? I went to 3 games this year, and then 1 at the Coliseum, and then last year I was at 2 games. Well, no, technically 3 because of the preseason game. So technically 4. Okay, that's a lot. Devin McCourty's questionable. Keep the hate coming. Like I said, I am really worried about anything. Fine with the Chargers playing on the road the rest of the postseason, to be honest. It seems a bunch. It's crazy, though. This is a what-if scenario. If the Chargers beat the Patriots and if the Colts beat the Chiefs, Chargers end up with a home game for the AFC West Championship. So that's interesting to think about. But we'll see. Again, you got to worry about 1 week at a time. So there's that. Oh, I thought you were saying the Chargers were over. People talking trash about the Chargers heading up on the Chargers, but you know what? They don't suck like the Patriots do. Heavy coaching influence game. Yeah. Who's coaching up the better team? Who's coaching up the better game plan? That's what it's going to come down to for sure. Who's the more well-prepared team? All those things. That was the difference between the Ravens Chargers Week 16. That was the difference between Ravens Chargers today. So there's that. Yeah, so there's that. Big ups to the Salt Lake City Charger fan. Slay the GOAT. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. Probably going to wrap it up right about now. So I'm excited. I hope you guys are all excited. Great team win again by the Chargers. You know, super excited to see what happens going forward, and what this team is capable of. I'm far be it from me. I'm going to guarantee anything. Far be it from me that I'm going to say, this is guaranteed. If you guys got confidence, I don't want to take anything from your guys' confidence. If you guys want to talk that talk, go right ahead. I'm with it. But personally, for me, like I was saying, 1 week at a time. So last week it was the Ravens and the Ravens only. We see the chips are set. So now it's, New England. Got to worry about New England and New England only. And then worry about it next week if the Chargers advance. And if they don't, it was a great season. Can't be proud of these guys no matter what the outcome is. Obviously, though, you want to see the Chargers advance and get a chance at that AFC West championship game. So, I'm hyped. I'm really hyped. I'm nervous, but I'm going to go enjoy this win for the rest of the afternoon. I hope you do the same. And yeah, we're just going to keep it going. And hashtag fight for each other. So King Platypus just sub. Hey, welcome to the TD Nation. I appreciate it. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to sign off for today. And it's on to New England. So I will see you guys in the next one. And peace.